Hi, I'm Melvin Yates with Grady Properties in Chevy Chase, Maryland. We are a full-service investment property company servicing the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Today we're going to talk about the advantages of lease options or rent-to-own versus a regular rental in the Washington, D.C. market. So anyone that knows me, you guys know I'm a proponent of lease options versus regular rentals. All of the properties that we own, almost all of them, 95% even, are lease options instead of regular rentals, and for the following reasons. The first and foremost reason is that we found that lease option tenants or tenant buyers have a tendency to take better care of the property. We found over time that they have a lot of pride of ownership. They actually invest their own money into your rental property. They put decks on, fences up, they upgrade appliances, put in granite countertops, hardwood floors. They actually add value to your property because they do have the plan on buying it. And if you are looking for a long-term strategy of eventually selling the house, that is a very good strategy because they do plan to purchase the home. And also when they put down a deposit initially, it's not a security deposit or a refundable security deposit like a regular tenant. It is a non-refundable option consideration. So they actually put down a down payment that's non-refundable that goes towards the purchase of the property. So again, they do plan to purchase the property. They do have to still secure traditional financing, of course, when that time comes, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years out. But they do plan to purchase it. That deposit that they put down, which is non-refundable, goes towards that purchase. Of course, should they decide, should things change, the situation changes, they can't purchase it or don't want to purchase the house, the money's non-refundable. Whereas with a regular tenant, everything goes well, they move in, 12 months later, they move out, and you have to refund that security deposit. In this case, you do not. Another advantage of a lease option over a regular rental is lease option tenants tend to stay at the property longer. Whereas the average tenant may stay 13, 14 months, lease option tenants tend to stay 2 to 3 years on average. So you actually have longer terms, which means less holding costs with a vacant house. If you had tenants that moved out every year, they stay 12 months, then you've got 2 or 3 months in between, and they stay 12 months, then 8 weeks in between, and they stay 12 months, then 6 weeks in between, then 12 months again, then 16 weeks in between. You've got a lot of off months. And so if you average it out, you're not collecting rent 12 months out of the year. You might only average over time, really only be collecting rent about 10 and a half months of a year. Whereas if you can go 2 years, 3 years straight, then have some in-between time, then 2 years, 3 years straight, then some in-between time. It works out better over time. Again, as a real estate as a long-term investment strategy, of course, if you could secure a 10-year tenant or a 20-year tenant, that would be great. And knowing that they would stay longer, you would, as opposed to the quick turnover. And finally, if you do ultimately plan to sell the investment property, typically you would collect 10 to 13% higher than today's current market value with a lease option tenant, because that's the way you structure it. You're agreeing to sell the home to them at a set price. Typically that price is a future price. So you actually are securing in a higher value than today's current market value. So for those reasons, that's why I always recommend that lease options or rent-to-own tenants are better than regular traditional tenants. It's usually a better scenario for both parties and for the landlord too. So again, I'm Melvin Yates with Grady Properties in Chevy Chase, Maryland. We are a investment property management company servicing the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And thanks for coming. I'll see you next time.